Welcome to the introduction to the Tri-Agency USRAs for the faculty supervisors. My name is Leah Hausman, and I take care of the Tri-Agency USRAs at USASC. And I'm super happy to be here with our URSA coordinator, Jordan Epp, and one of our adjudication committee co-chairs, Dr. George Ketzelis, who will have some tips and tricks for you in a bit. We will have time for questions at the end, so you can either pop them in the chat or raise your hand and unmute when we call for questions. So first things first, even though we are online, I want to acknowledge that we are coming to you from Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis, and I invite you to take a moment to consider the homeland that you are coming from today. Before we dive into everything, I just want to quickly plug that we are accepting applications to the USRA Adjudication Committee. We are currently looking for members from all natural science, engineering, or applied sciences departments. This is a super rewarding academic service volunteer opportunity, and it's a chance to affect positive change to the adjudication process. If you are interested, you can fill out the form at that QR code there. Or you can find more information on our website, or you can contact me at undergraduateresearch@usasc.ca. At a very high level, the Undergraduate Student Research Awards, or USRAs as we call them, provide undergraduate students with the opportunity to take up paid full-time work over the summer as a student assistant on a research project under the supervision of a USASC faculty member. They are between 14 and 16 weeks of paid employment between May and August 2026. Students are paid between $15.35 and $21.12 per hour. You, the faculty supervisor, set this wage based on the type of work the student will be doing, the student's academic and research experience, and your budget. If the work or the research the student will be doing is more advanced, or if the student will be working with more autonomy, you can go into that next salary band, which tops out at $24.70 per hour right now. These are the 2025 salary ranges, and they might change slightly in 2026. We will update that information on our website as soon as we have it. You and the student also agree to the working hours and any time off. The students are paid out for any vacation time. So in order for a student to take time off or extend the period of time off, you and that student must come to a mutually satisfactory agreement to make up that time before August 31st. The students are hired as employees, and the hiring is processed by us at RASI, so there are no timesheets for you to take care of, which I'm sure you all appreciate, and your departments don't have to process any of that hiring paperwork. And then $6,000 is provided by the USRA award, with the rest coming from the faculty supervisor's top-up funds. The competition will officially launch on December 2nd, 2025. At that point, we will begin accepting applications, and our website will have all of the information and the application forms and the application submission portal. All of that stuff will be there. We are also hosting several workshops between today and January 14th to help you along. We have a step-by-step application workshop on December 3rd via Zoom, where you can come and learn about all of the application steps both you and your student will need to complete. We also have sessions and recordings from previous sessions to help your student talk to a professor about a research position and write about their skills and experiences. And we will also hold 2 drop-in work sessions closer to the deadline, one in December and one in January, where you or your students or both can come work on your application, ask your questions, get some support from us, and eat some holiday snacks. Applications will be due on January 23rd, 2026 at 5:00 p.m. Saskatchewan time. Of the 3 tri-agencies, most of the USRA awards come from NSERC. There are 3 different streams for the NSERC awards. There is the general stream, the stream for Indigenous student researchers, and the stream for Black student researchers. For the Indigenous student researcher stream, this is only open to students who can obtain verification of Indigenous identity or citizenship in line with the USASC's Indigenous Truth Policy. And for the Black student researcher stream, the student must self-identify as Black and consent to having that information about their identity shared, potentially publicly if they're awarded. And at this time, the SSHRC and CIHR USRAs are only for Black student researchers, and the same guidelines as the NSERC stream apply. There is a lot of eligibility criteria for both students and faculty, and you and your student should definitely go through our website in detail to get them all in full, to make sure you understand them all and meet them all, but on a very high level. For you as a faculty supervisor, you must be eligible to apply for and hold that same tri-agency funding your student is applying for. Do not need to currently hold a tri-agency grant to supervise a USRA, and you don't need to hold one at the time the student takes up the USRA, but you just need to be eligible to apply and hold one at USask. So if your student is applying for an NSERC USRA, you must be eligible to apply for NSERC funding. You must also have a top-up source of funding. $6,000 comes from the USRA award, and the faculty member provides the top-up funds to pay the student the full-time wage. For the $15.35 to $21.12 per hour range, this top-up will be approximately between $3,800 and $8,900. Again, this will change a little bit in January when the 2026 employment deduction percentages are updated, but barring any sort of out-of-pocket change by the CRA, these changes are expected to be fairly minor, and they usually are fairly minor. The top-up funds do not need to come from a tri-agency grant, and they can come from any funding source you have that allows for student employment expenses to be charged against it. If you are applying for an NSERC USRA, you and your proposed if your proposed project could be seen as human health research, you will need to provide a short explanation that references the addendum to the guidelines for eligibility of application related to health provided by NSERC or the NSE eligibility, and you'll need to explain how your project meets the criteria for NSERC eligibility. NSERC has said that they will reject projects that do not meet the NSE eligibility criteria, so it's important that you make sure that you write your proposal in a way that it does, and then provide that little justification if it applies. You can only submit up to 3 applications with students as a faculty supervisor in a given year. And you must be available to provide quality supervision and mentorship to your USRA students if you are awarded. For the students, this is also a very high-level overview of their eligibility, but your student must be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or have protected status. International students are not, here on a study permit, are not eligible for this award at this time. They must be registered in a bachelor's degree program at the application deadline. So that will be January 23rd, and it's okay if they will be graduating in this spring. They are still eligible to apply and take up the award. If they cannot be enrolled in an undergraduate professional degree program in the human health sciences, so your Bachelor of Sciences in Nursing, your MD programs, that only applies for the SSHRC and the NSERC awards. This is permitted if you're applying for a CIHR award. If you have any questions about that, please let us know, and we'd be happy to help clarify that. And the student must also have completed 2 semesters of university before the awards start, so before May of 2026. So first-year students are eligible as long as they will have completed those 2 semesters before May. They must also have a cumulative average of 70%. And if you meet all of that application criteria to apply, the next important thing to know is that this is a 2-part application completed together with your students. I want to note here that these are competitive awards. We generally receive at least double the applications that we can award, which means that many excellent and well-qualified students are unfortunately not awarded. And the adjudication committee has some incredibly difficult decisions to make. So that means that your portion of the application, the 40% that you are responsible, can be make or break for your students. So the total combined application is evaluated based on 3 overarching areas. 60% of the total score comes from the student portion of the application, academic performance, and student research potential, and 40% comes from the faculty portion. The student academic performance counts for 30%, and that includes things like the student's grades, grades by year, transcripts, and awards. Research potential, that counts for 30% as well. It's evaluated based on the answers to the questions on the student portion of the application. So students are asked to explain how the USRA will help them to develop and practice research skills, outline how this opportunity will contribute to the future education and career goals, and also describe their experiences and skills. And that makes up the student portion of the application. And then the last 40% comes from the faculty portion of the application, which is a very good portion of the total score and how competitive an application is. As a faculty supervisor, you are responsible for providing the outline of the topic in 1,800 characters or less, not words, characters, including spaces. The outline of the student's role in 300 to 500 characters, and the outline of the quality of training and mentorship you can provide to the student in 300 to 500 characters. There are a few extra things to pay attention to here. Your application is not read by someone in your department. It will be read by someone with experience in the natural sciences and engineering, or social sciences or health sciences, if that applies. But you will need to write this in a way that it can be understood by those outside of your department or a very specific area. The adjudication committee also wants to make sure that awarded students are working with quality supervision and mentorship. So it's important that you outline this well. So in total, 60% of the score comes from the student's contribution and 40% comes from your contribution as the faculty supervisor. Next, I am super pleased to introduce one of our adjudication committee co-chairs, George Katselis, and he has some tips and tricks for faculty supervisors and outlining their role as a faculty supervisor. So I will hand that off to him. Thanks, George.
Thanks, Leah. Yeah, I think you mentioned most of the stuff that I had to say, but that's good. Hi, everyone. My name is George Katselis. I'm faculty in the Department of Medicine, the College of Medicine, and myself and Risha Peters, I think she's online, and Catherine Ivy, we are co-chairs this year for the tri-agency USRAs. So a few things. I think you need to, as Leah mentioned, also you need to work very close with your potential with the applicant. Get to know them. Make sure that they can that both of you can work quite well. Harmonization is important in the lab environment, or in the office, depending on what the research is, whether it's SHERC or CIHR or NSERC. It's important that you complete the application together. I mean, you don't have to sit together in the office, but I think as a supervisor, you make sure that you read what the student has written. What we have noticed in the past is that we had excellent write-ups from students, and then faculty, they basically copy and pasted their NSERC DG or other applications. So, or CIHR or SHERC. So it's a good idea that you modify your proposal so to fit the specifications and the training purposes for the undergraduate student. It's important that you write it in a lay terms because, as we said, we're not going to assign adjudicators from the same department. They may be from the same college, but it would be a good idea that you write the proposal in simple terms so we can understand. And of course, we have to make sure that we understand the methodology and everything. We want to see the feasibility. Like, can this project be done in the time of this award, in the period of this award? Um, Another thing that you have to be careful is the NSC eligibility, especially for the NSERC. As Leah mentioned before, you shouldn't be putting a health-based proposal for an NSERC proposal. This is going to be flagged and probably it's going to be returned to you. And again, these awards are very competitive. So the more careful you craft the application, the more chances are for the student to be awarded. I can't remember how many scholarships or awards we have allocated this year, Leah, but we get double the amount, right? Or maybe
At
triple the
least,
amount.
yes.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, we just got them yesterday, so we have 67 awards for the general stream, and
Yeah,
7 awards for the Black Student Researcher STEAM stream, and then 3 each for the CIHR
yeah,
and SHRCs.
yeah. So as you can see, it's very competitive. Um, the other thing also that I wanted to mention is that if a student has been awarded an NSEC USRA in the past, it would be a good idea that they showcase that, and basically with some results if they are going to work in the same project. That's very, very important because we want to see some continuity, we want to see some progress, because obviously this may lead to publications and so on. So that's important. Um, the mentorship role and the supervision quality also is very important when you describe them in your portion of the proposal. We don't want to see that, okay, yeah, well, I'm going to meet with a student once a week and we're going to go over the results, or we want to see a bit more explanation as to how you're going to do this, what are you going to offer to the student, and so on. I believe that's all I had, Leah. I don't know if there's anything else that I need to add. I mean, I can answer any questions afterwards at the end, but I believe that's all it is there that I had to say.
That is absolutely great. Those are great tips and tricks. And it's really great for everyone to hear that from your perspective, and not from mine. So that is awesome. We will have questions at the end. So if anyone has questions for George, we can handle all that in a bit. So next we have our URSA coordinator, Jordan Epp, who is here to offer some insights from the URSA initiative. So go ahead, Jordan, take it away.
Thanks, Leah. Yeah, and thanks, George. It's always good to hear from a committee member. So your perspective, having looked at these in the past, so that's great. I just wanted to sort of outline some of the faculty benefits. Sometimes we have faculty asking us, what the benefit to you is. And really, there's a number of things. The big one for me is, I guess, is that mentorship and training experience that you'll get as a faculty member supervising. And that can certainly support tenure promotion and those types of things. HQP training and experience as well, same kind of thing. It's just going to provide you an opportunity to have to engage in that kind of training and experience, and having it connected to a tri-agency funded grant is not a bad thing. So showing initiative to be applying for grant funding as well, again, in support of tenure promotion and those types of things. This is tri-agency funding, so it holds the same kind of weight that other NSERC, SHRC, and CIHR grants hold. So it looks good. It's the same kind of thing. Productivity for your research project. This is where your undergraduate student really sort of helps your research along and benefits you. We have a lot of faculty who talk about the unexpected undergraduate research energy and curiosity that comes from these students. These folks are, keeners for sure. They're folks who are, I always say in the URSA initiative, I'm so lucky because the students that we engage with are the ones we're preaching to the choir. They're already engaged. Nobody's forcing them to be here and to engage in this stuff. So these students are really, really interested. They're really passionate about getting into research and doing these things. So the energy and the curiosity that comes from them is just unmatched. And a lot of the time, our faculty talk about some of the out-of-the-box questions and approaches that come out of their involvement in your research projects. So yeah, I encourage you to open up your labs and your projects to these undergraduate researchers, and some of the benefits that'll come back will, I think, surprise you for sure. Retention and training of domestic and international students. So with international caps and things like that, I know a number of colleges are concerned about those pathways for undergraduate students into graduate studies to keep those graduate studies numbers up within your colleges. Definitely an important thing to be thinking about. And as we mentor our research assistants at the undergrad level, a lot of the time, that supports their transition into grad studies. And having a grad studies student who has already been involved in your lab, who's already been trained with some research skills and some of those activities and some of those experiential activities, having done a USRA, that's just going to be a benefit to you moving forward as they become grad students. Next slide there, Leah. So we do have some more upcoming events as part of the USRA workshop series. So on December 3rd, we'll be hosting a more in-depth application approach to our process for the USRAs. So once you have your student and you've agreed to be a supervisor and you're starting to get into the process of the application, this is a great workshop. We'll be going through the process, through the workshop, or through the application process from beginning to end. So this should be super helpful in getting those questions answered. And then we'll have 2 drop-in sessions as well. One December 17th, so just before Christmas. So if you have questions, if you and your student, George mentioned the importance of working with your student to develop this USRA application. So yeah, encourage both of you to attend the drop-in sessions if you have any questions. And then we'll have another one just before the deadline, which is January 23rd, I believe, Leah, is that correct? So we'll have another drop-in session in the new year on January 14th for folks to come and ask any questions if they've got any further questions there. You can always email us as well at undergraduate. That's okay. You can go to the next one too. undergraduate.research@USask. The Tri-Agency USRA website webpage is updated now with all those important dates. So as Leah mentioned, the launch is officially December 2nd for taking in applications. But the website has all the new details and processes and things like that on it, so you can keep up to date. It's a very long URL. We don't have our own website. It's a web page off of this long thing. So there's a QR code there for you to jump on to if you want. Other than that, any questions can certainly come to Leah or myself. Leah certainly has the more in-depth knowledge in terms of the process, and she's leading this USRA application process and administering it. So, but if I can help out with how the undergraduate RSA initiative is connected to this and how that sort of all works together, I'm happy to chat. So, yeah, I guess we'll open it up for any questions, Leah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions for George as well, he'd be happy to answer them as well.
I see there's a few questions that have been answered in the chat, so have a look there if you've got lingering questions or may have an answer there for you already. But
I have a
You can
question.
pop questions in the chat. You can unmute and
I have
speak
a
them out
question.
loud. No problem.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes, hello. Thanks everyone for the presentation. Really informative. I have a quick question. Like the duration you said, I saw in one of the slides that it can be agreed based on the student and the supervisor, but is it still between 14 and 16 week? And is it still obligatory that the supervisor top up the amount, or I can just say you can just work the amount of hours for the 6,000 award from NSERC and I'm not able to pay at this time?
So they are full-time awards for full-time work.
Okay.
So they do require a top up. There are ways to, work with it to be a bit more economical if, that is required. So you can go to a 14-week project, and then the wage can be adjusted between that 15.35 to 21 per hour range. And so like that top up will be about $3,800 ish. But it will go all
Okay.
the way up to about $8,600 if you go to the top of the pay range and go to a 16-week project. You should check in with your department to see if there's anything that they can do to assist with this. I know some departments are willing to help out with top up sources. So it would really depend on the department, and it would be best coming from you to say, hey, I have this student, we would like to apply, and we're looking for a top-up source, especially if you're in your faculty or in between grants. That wouldn't be an unreasonable ask.
Okay, perfect. And another question for the 67 for NSERC, is it just for NSERC or 67 for each one? Because is it only 3 for CAI, HR, and CHIRC, or I just got confused?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 67 quota is for the general NSERC stream, so that is the most competitive stream. And then there are 7 awards that we've been given for the Black student researcher stream, in addition to the 67. And then there is also the Indigenous student researcher stream. And so we are permitted to submit applications for that Indigenous stream beyond our quota of 67, but they do have to be meritorious and they are subject to review. And it's not guaranteed that they would be awarded, but we are allowed to submit them. And then there
Okay.
are 3 each for the CIHR and SHRC for Black student researchers. That will be on our website. So if you have any questions about that, you can check there, or you can send me an email and I'd be happy to elaborate on that further if necessary.
Thanks a lot.
Leah, let's make sure that we emphasize the fact that this is a full-time
Yes.
research work over the summer. Okay,
Okay.
and so the students they're eligible to take whatever time off, yeah, and so on. Okay, so it's a full time.
Yes, absolutely. And that is 37.5 hours per week at each task.
Yeah.
And then, like I mentioned, the vacation time is paid out to the students, so they don't accrue vacation time throughout their employment. So if they do need to take a day off, then they just have to arrange that with you to take a day off and then make up that time before August 31st. Does that answer the question? We have another question in the chat. So for faculty members that have applied in the past without success, is it possible to get feedback on why applications are not successful? It seems that reviewers are providing their justification for scores. The information should be available. So we don't make that publicly available just for, posterity for the people who applied. But if you do have questions about your application, you can certainly reach out to us for feedback, and we'd be happy to look into it for you. And potentially the coaches can help you out if you have specific questions about what you can do the next time. I do also want to hit the point again that these are really competitive, and the difference between who gets awarded and doesn't get awarded sometimes is very, very minor. And so you can do everything right, and your student can be awesome and excellent, and you can write an excellent proposal, and sometimes it's just the unfortunate reality that we only get 67 awards for that stream, that we, the education committee have to make some decisions. But certainly reach out if you have questions or would like to request feedback. No problem.
One last question, if you don't mind. Is it evaluated within the university or an NSERC evaluation committee?
So the committee is a USAS committee. So how it works is NSERC gives the allocation to each university. So each university gets a certain number of awards, and then they form a adjudication committee to recommend all those applications to NSERC.
Are there any uh, like helping or things about like new faculty if they are included or something? Would you say like we would help if they are like early career or something or?
Sorry, I just want to clarify the question. Like you're asking if like new faculty, if there's extra support for new faculty in
Y-
applying, is that?
Yes, yes.
So we also have a program for early career researchers at RASI called DARE. I don't know if you've met Patrick at all. Patrick Chassé, he's the one that takes care of that program. He would be, I'm sure, happy to help with the early career angle of it. But if you are looking for extra support, I mean, you can reach out with any of those questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Come to those drop-in sessions because we will be there hands-on to help you out with any questions or anything that comes up. And I can certainly connect you with Patrick if you would like assistance with the early career angle of things. No problem. Just send me an email and I will connect you with Patrick.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions? I believe I have answered your questions if you put them in the chat, but if I haven't, please just let me know if I missed it. Anything else you want to mention, George, that's come up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if I'm available. I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of the other co-chairs, but I'm available if anybody wants to reach out to me and maybe with some assistance while they are preparing uh, their application. I'll be happy to meet with them and discuss some pointers and so on. So I don't know if you um, uh, feel free to reach out to Leah. She can give you my email address.
And I can help triage anything as well. If it's something I can answer, I will help you out. But if it's something that our co-chairs will be better to answer, then I can certainly connect you with them. Rachel, I see that you popped on. Do you have something you'd like to mention?
I'll
Rachel is
just
also
say
one of our co-chairs as well.
Oh
hello.
yeah, hi, Risa. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll say I'm available too. I'm happy to throw my name in that hat.
thanks, Risa.
Well, if there are no other questions, I think we can close off. So thank you all for coming and asking your questions. As we mentioned, there will be more details on the application process on our website. We'll launch on December 2nd. In the meantime, we have lots of resources on our website, and we will put the recording of the session up there once it's ready. We'll also be sending out the recording and the slides, so you will have all the information. And if you do have any questions that you think of later, please just send me an email at undergraduate.research@usas.ca, and I will be happy to help out. So if that's all, if no one else has any questions or would like to say anything, we can close off and everyone can have a great day.